Yeah, so what I've been feeling for quite some, like strongly feeling for quite some while today, and as you probably can see from my uploads, I've recorded quite a lot of video today. Surprisingly, I didn't plan to, but I just somehow slid into it, and but that's okay. It's I didn't record for a long time, and it's I've got no voice today. But apparently my throat chakra is a bit blocked, or at least a bit under duress, or there might be some kind of process going on that would explain why I'm recording so much today and talking so much today. I can feel there's some kind of pressure inside my throat which changes my voice, and also in my chest, but mainly in my throat. Whereas you probably can hear it. It's a bit of vocal fry, and it's kind of it's a feeling of pressure. Yeah, so definitely my vocal cords are different from usually. Anyway, what did I want to say? Right, I'm strongly feeling the energetic blockage in my sacral area, and then here in at the back of my head, like where the nape of the neck and the back of the head join that area, which are another thing like where yeah, there's basically a very rather small area wherever there's constant blockage or a very strong, very focused muscular tension, chronic muscular tension, which I've had probably since my teenage years, if not longer, and definitely since I've had meningitis, because I do remember less than a year, I guess, after coming back to Austria, I went to see a Peruvian shaman who was visiting Austria, and he said that the whole problem I'm having, and I'm noticing how like talking about this is actually stimulating the energy in my body, and I'm feeling my blockages stronger again, more strongly, like at the back of my head. But he said like all the problems are here, and it's he sees a lot of blackness or darkness, but it wasn't anything he was used to from his from kind of the system of healing and belief system he was trained in. Anyway, but back to the blockage along the spinal cord. No, there's another one actually, which is basically the back of. I assume it's the back of the solar plexus chakra. It's like basically the height of the solar plexus, the spine. But I don't feel that as much right now. Anyway, I assume that these blockages that I always feel, and especially when I start moving energy, I feel that tension and everything stronger and stronger, and also the kind of the pressure and the blockage. That it's those which are responsible for causing this kind of paralysis and that kind of immobilize me and exhaustion, like lack of energy, and inability to do and act. Right now I feel, for example, the throat is also connected to that inability to act, and then also my heart, and on another level my whole chest area. But going back to what I feel right now, I strongly feel the back of my head, and then most strongly this afternoon my sacral area. And I've been thinking, what to do about it. When I'm off camera, I'm just not focused enough to really go into it. Not today, not right now. I know in the past, with the right medication or herbs that allowed my nervous system to calm down enough, and at the same time I'm putting the camera down, at the same time remain focused, that I was able to go into the tension and the pain more deeply, and I've discovered like interesting things there. And I mean, that's already, for example, but that's already a couple of years back, some ancestral trauma, in fact, like some injury my grandfather had, and I had no idea about it. I just found out when I told my mom that what I felt, and that I felt my grandfather's energy and some related emotions and times, going back to the Second World War, and then she told me that he actually had an injury, exactly where I have that slip disc, and where I was having that really intense chronic pain at that time. Now it's like the physical pain has been mostly like it's absolutely no comparison. But I don't want to go too deeply into that. Yeah, I'm just thinking. So right now, yeah. Also, if you depend too much on medication or something to be able to focus, it seems like I just run the danger of getting stuck in the process, and then I'm like focused on that painful state, but there's no resolution because I don't go deeper, and then it's actually it's almost as if it's worse than yeah. I mean, if you really focus on something like honestly and fully, and with openness and everything, it tends to resolve, or at least energy will moving, some whatever process is happening will move along. But I have a lot of experience of doing that, and kind of getting stuck in a very painful state, and might go for days and weeks, and it seems that that's not helpful, and possibly it might be because the intention behind it is to, I want to do this in order to make it go away, so for this or that aim, for example, so I can get up and function, or feel better, or like put it behind me and so on, and that's not a, I mean, that's a completely valid reason, but it's how to put it, it's like, it's not dishonest, but it's like well, the best consciousness in which to go into. By the way, it's quite interesting that my hands are like very much energetically activated right now. I guess it's because of I've been doing quite a lot of acupressure today. It's actually all on the videos, like I did it all in front of camera, because, as you know, it helps me focus and concentrate and not abort what I'm doing. Sorry, I just lost my thread. Yeah, the best consciousness to go into something is basically curiosity. But in my experience, I just well, the state of consciousness tends to arise when I have quite a lot of energy, and at the same time I'm quite focused and centered, and well, basically when there's a lot of life energy flowing through the body, which is a state that I've never naturally experienced as a natural state. It will only be triggered or caused through some external influence, which in some cases can be a person, a place, or a situation, but that's really rare, and usually it would be some kind of substance. Combined with the right situation. For example, I guess drinking a lot of green tea. Well, basically anything that either stimulates or kind of opens up or calms down, but still allows you to stay focused. It's not really dependent on a substance, but more on the interplay between like all the different factors, and it's I think back, it rather happens with like natural stimulants or things that kind of open you up energetically and allow your mind to come calm and less, like a body of water that is less rippled and there are less waves, like a placid lake, to kind of allow you to calm your energy, and not so much with pharmaceutical medication, as far as I remember. Yeah, though that can help too. But it's always an interplay of various factors. I just digressed as well again. Yeah, so I just wanted to say, as of right now, I'm apparently not able to sit down or lie down and Yeah, no. I just feel it. I'm extremely like my mind is really upset and not only upset but like extremely unsettled, and my attention span is like beyond short, and there's this strong craving for distraction. For example, with my phone or computer, which is always a dilemma. I mean, I'm using my phone, my computer right now. It's helpful. I do have that pouch which I can lock, so I could lock my phone. If I did that right now, it would feel really painful. Then I could like enter that painful state and try to deal with it. But last couple of times I did that, it wasn't so helpful either. It's quite interesting. To really resolve the whole thing, it's definitely something I've got to do. At least go, allow that to be resolved. But my main aim is to be able to function in the sense I want to go take a shower. I want to take care of the trash and the dishes and my laundry and my room. I mean, you always can see it in the background of my recordings, like what a huge mess everything is in, and so on. That's not the topic right now. Yeah, so doesn't really work off camera, and I've been thinking well, I should try it on camera, and just feeling through my body. So that would be one option. I could do it right now, and then I listen to something that resonates with the sacral chakra, and probably at the same time do acupressure or something on myself on video. So I'm like doing something. Just sitting silently. Yeah, I'm like extremely like my whole energy is like this all the time. It's an extreme state of nervousness and panic, pain, everything. Yeah, the despair, and yeah, I can also feel how it goes back to my early childhood. Let's see if some yeah, lots of pain come up. People used to be around me as a child. More pain as a child. It's amazing how much emotional pain I was as a child. We're talking about age 3 right now, and I wasn't aware of it. At that point, I was already coping to a degree where I wasn't aware of that anymore, and I was already dissociated from myself, so I could survive in that environment. It's quite interesting that that is coming up right now. I'm not going in right now with the intention of resolution, because as I've mentioned before, it's often not helpful to go in with that intention. Okay, I really want to get it done right now, and it just came up spontaneously. And I'm also not in a place where I say, okay, I've got all this space and time to, and energy and resources to go into it and allow it to resolve, come what may, whatever it takes. Because I want to take care of my physical self. But it's quite fascinating that it came up. I didn't think about that. But that would be one option to kind of do inner work on that sacral area. It's also interesting that these the things that just came up from my childhood are actually connected to my sacral chakra. Wasn't so much aware of that. I was not that consciously, but I was aware that it's connected to my first chakra, my base chakra. Apparently, it must be a major factor in the sacral chakra as well. But no need to analyze it now. Just tuning into my sacral chakra, see whether it has any message. Well, it's under a lot of pressure, and it appreciates the attention right now. That's really great. Because I can feel how there's a process moving along, and it's quite surprising or good, because I mean, I experienced that a lot, that I feel this blockage, so my attention goes to this place a lot, and so because I've been working on that area for so many years, and just now on video, for whatever reason, after like mentioning it and talking about it, it feels more seen than through all that work. One might say that it says that the fact that I'm sharing these things publicly allowed this area, this part of myself, to feel more seen, because I'm sharing it with other people, at least hypothetically. Yeah. If somebody's watching this, if you don't mind, please say hi. It's and let's check in on my sacral chakra. Let's get in touch and see what changed in the meanwhile. And even just before, I was feeling that how my energy, my body's energy, like how to say it, kind of, we could call it something like a rise in vibration. Of the energy of the physical body, though, I mean, that could mean a lot of things, but I just felt change in my state of consciousness and the feeling my physical body. But then that might have to do with the medication I've been taking and the herbs I've been taking. I've been drinking quite a lot of tea, and so that has all. Yeah. Anyway, but that's just a distraction, actually. I mean, as I just said before, it's always about the interplay of all these factors. So obviously, when I tuned in and it said that it feels more seen because I'm actually sharing this, even though I have shared all these things with people before, at least once, without exception, but seems that a video like this has just a very large potential audience, which means I don't have to translate whatever I'm expressing into the language, the concepts of a specific person, so that he or she may understand. So that might, yeah, that definitely is a factor, because I can now feel an activation of my crown chakra. It's really interesting. Interesting. Okay, just allow me to tune in again, and let's because now I've been talking from my mind all the time. Let's get some fresh. Let's tune back in with the body and get some fresh information. Not keep rehashing, like just analyzing the feeling from a couple of minutes ago. So pain, pressure, being in kind of a confined space, not literally, but like energetically, like be like, especially concerning the people around you. So you're very you're not able to expand to be yourself and to flourish. I don't know. I'm just being given the word flourish. Well, obviously you want a child to expand and flourish, right? But that wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't the case. I mean, my parents certainly wanted that, but on their terms, in their understanding, and certainly, especially for my mother, she wanted that to, and it's still the case actually. She wants that to fit a certain mold, and if it goes in any other direction, she will that will be perceived as a threat to her, and then for her it looks as if I'm going into the wrong way, a bad way. And in the past, and I guess even now, but now I'm really putting much more of a boundary, putting out much more of a boundary here, that she feels she has to do something to save me and bring me back into that original space. But the person that's most present is actually an acquaintance of my parents that sometimes used to take care of me as a child, and so for her it was certainly not her desire just for me to flourish, but more it's almost like kind of vampire energy, which yeah, but that's like, now I don't want to use these words because that's kind of an outdated belief system, which can, like, if somebody is listening, that might lead to, and even inside my own mind, it might reinforce some old concepts, ideas, belief systems that are not beneficial. So it's more like yeah, but it is quite it's quite a place of darkness and manipulation people are in, and then when they will subconsciously feel a very bright energy, especially when it's quite freely expressed, like in small children, they would want to be in that presence, and because it would re-energize, rejuvenate them, and yeah, I can't really feel into the whole dynamic, but at the same time, somehow it's must be some kind of manipulative dynamic, or what I basically feel and see is quite a lot of unconsciousness, like unconscious patterning and conditioning, and what you usually see as darkness. So from some perspective, this would be perceived as really a darkness that's kind of enveloping you, attacking you, keeping you caught kind of in a net, so you cannot develop and cannot expand and grow and move. It's quite interesting because that corresponds very much to the state I'm in right now with my body, and at the same time feeding off the life energy, of that other person, the child, in the way to, because if you're in such a state of unconsciousness and negativity, you have to get your life energy from the outside somehow, because you're so, your own soul, your own source of energy is so closed off and dissociated because of trauma and pain. It's really interesting that what I'm feeling, describing, and seeing is a dynamic that I usually wouldn't describe in these ways, because I mean I've learned about it in the past, and I used to adopt these belief systems and think along these lines, and but this the danger is that you really get caught up in this, and then it's a constant battle, and you are kind of powerless or in a constant fight, and your energy is exhausted when you view things from this perspective. So over the over several years, I just moved more and more away from this perspective to another perspective where the darkness is not this kind of bad or evil thing that you're kind of pushing away or fighting against, but it's just the unconsciousness and the pain, anything, basically it's something painful, or what do you call it, the shadow, that consciousness or the light of consciousness is not looking at, and therefore it is that it just solidifies into some kind of thought form, I guess, of fear and pain, and then it can seem like a dark cloud or even entity, or can take over a person. So from that specific person who used to take care of me as a child, and she might actually have already died this year, or might be close to death. She's, I don't know, maybe she's 90 or something now, and I heard that she had a broken hip bone or something, a hip fracture, something. I heard my parents talk about it this year, I guess. So that doesn't sound like something to recover from. But anyway, I remember her that she is, the way she talked and so on, she would be like this very negative mindset of blaming people and talking about people in a very negative way, and having a very almost kind of a Nazi kind of mindset, where you're like very just very prejudiced against certain groups of people, like immigrants and so on. And I don't know exactly. I never really went into it or really listened to it, and it's been very long since I've last had contact, and when she was with me, she wasn't, because I never like when she started to kind of demonize that person or these groups of people, or blame them for this and that, I didn't really go with it. And as far as I remember, she tended to kind of idealize me, and probably kind of was trying to more lure me into her energy, because of the dynamic I've been explaining, offer to give me gifts, or like just invite me for dinner at some like really expensive restaurant or something. I didn't take up most of the offers. Also I guess wanted to invite me or lure me into a certain sphere of society, or like way of living that's like more of a like where you pretend to be rich and better than the others, and you would dine at some expensive restaurant, and you would I don't know, go to classical concerts, which is not like I mean, none of these things are like to be judged, but in a way that you rather, it's not so much about the enjoyment, but it seems to be more about giving yourself the validation that you're better or of a higher status than just the ordinary person, because you're just an ordinary person, but you want to nourish your self-esteem by creating that sense of difference. Yeah, it's quite removed actually from my way of thinking. So I feel like how my mind is like really getting confused when I'm analyze these structures. So just one thing I wanted to mention is that probably the whole thing can, or it would be more beneficial to see everything from an emotional perspective, like trying to meet one's emotional needs through in a manipulative way. For example, that can very easily describe the dynamic I've had or my mother had with me ever since I was a small child, that she unconsciously tried to get her emotional needs be met by me through very in a very manipulative way, without realizing it, which wasn't helpful for me. So, but in that case, I'm unable right now to see it from. I just see this really strong darkness and unconsciousness. So it's like really black, and there are even like emotions, or at least a certain intensity of emotions that I'm really not familiar from my own experience, because I've never entered such strong states of darkness, especially in the sense of blaming other people or the environment and things outside me, and making this distinction. And yeah, that's a really dissociated and strange pattern and sense of self. I feel I'm getting more and more sucked into this, but I'm not able to analyze it really any further. I think it won't be beneficial or helpful, but it's interesting now to go into it. I haven't looked at any such thing for a long time, and apparently being here on video and talking about it helps to not be too overwhelmed, to maintain a certain distance and also a focus. So I'm so my attention stays focused on that. So I know that like from early childhood, and especially from primary school age to my early or mid teens, or I empathed like really dark energies from my environment, from schools, teachers, even society. There was in my country, apparently there was society was like, there were like some really dark things coming out, and somehow being there in the collective consciousness, like child abuse, stuff like this. I'm not sure, but I just going by my feelings. So I'm familiar with really dark energies, but I cannot, like at a certain point, I cannot feel or see it from an emotional level anymore, because I cannot relate, and then I'm like, my emotional side is not really well developed, or well, it's I don't know. I mean, people are always telling me that emotionally I have too many issues, and I'm not going to my emotions enough. But maybe that's not even the right way to put it. But certainly, I'm not in a state of emotional freedom, or well-being, or like functional emotionally, and I've never been. I mean, it's like you're born, and you constantly, there's new stuff being heaped onto you, and you just cannot resolve the old stuff. And for a long time, I mean, the process of like kind of awakening out of these negative states, where I also used to blame myself for all these feelings and emotions, all this darkness and thoughts, and because I thought that's all generated by me. So I guess I started to slowly awaken out of that at age 15, 16, not before that. Yeah, I guess at that age, 15, 16, that was the time when I spent a year in Hong Kong as an exchange student in high school. That I first managed to step out of one of conditioning, and second of like all the things absorbed and or empath, or in any way taken in from my environment, step into a place where I was not acting them out anymore, where it would be some level of agency, choice, and I would have some deeper connection to my own self, my own essence, and be able to separate myself from that. Though when I came back to Austria, yeah, it's was tough, and continued to be so. That's why I'm certain I've talked about that countless times in the other videos. I always feel like Austria is not a good place for me to be. It's always used to be quite different in other countries. And yeah, well, let's not talk about the future right now. Let's stay focused. So dark energies, and I think I've kind of conveyed and brought across everything I've wanted to say. Let's go back to my sacral area. Yeah, so I can feel sadness now. That's always a good sign of resolution, especially in this kind. It's the kind of good kind of well, the nice kind of sadness. It's like the kind of sadness when something leaves, when you let when something lets go, when you let go of something. I mean, letting go is not really an active process. So when something, yeah, when something goes away, when it leaves, when it dissolves, and then there's this feeling of sadness, almost like nostalgia, and I really like that because it also indicates there's movement in my emotional body, and as I said before, that one's quite stuck. Nice. So the pain has been replaced by that. Okay, my body wants me to close my eyes right now. I can feel a lot of pain in my legs and like hip area because I've been sitting on my bed, cross-legged, right this very spot for hours, I guess now. So of course that's not yeah. Let's just ask the sacral area if yeah, there's something. I mean, it's not only a sacral area; it's like sacral lumbar area, and we actually everything I've been talking about is more in the lumbar area, and that slipped vertebra, that prolapse. That's actually L5S1, so that's right between the sacrum and the first or fifth, like the lowest lumbar vertebra. And now I feel the focus of the energy. It's like really a focal point, like as if you took a magnifying glass and put it into like allow the sunlight, the sun to shine through it and like focus a beam of sunlight, and that's what it feels right now. And it went down to the actual sacral bone, right to where the tailbone starts. At the same time, there is soreness still at that lumbar area, but apparently there has been an interesting resolution apparently of what I've been talking about already, and it's just and yeah, things are processed, resolved, going away. So that seems to be happy. It's actually a reason to celebrate. I didn't expect that at all, and I didn't. I thought this video would turn out quite differently, and it turned out much better than I envisioned. Let's go back to the lower part of the sacrum. So there's a lot of pain and compacted energy and tension there. Oh, that's interesting. Now that's some real blockage, and now there's my mom's energy. Remember that I've like. I mean that's like typical first chakra stuff, but I guess that's anyway. Don't want to put it into like chakra concepts, but I'm like familiar with this kind of energy from my mom that is internalized in this part of my body for like really long time. I mean that's all. Like not long after I developed that chronic fatigue, and like after I had meningitis in China at age 22, and not, I guess not long. I'm not sure, but I've already felt it a long time ago, and it's basically it's my mom's energy, and it's a very primal form of energy. So that's like, it's kind of the energy that that you have inside you as a very small child. So it's not, it's more formless, and it's just kind of like, in this case it's like kind of like a bubble, so that the energy wants to expand and move, and it's just can't, and so there's like this really strong pressure and tension, but at the same time this energy that wants to move out, it's very primal and pure. I don't know, it doesn't have like the, like if you would give it a face or a body, it wouldn't be like the form of an adult, but like a comic or cartoon, or like an anime figure of some cute childlike being, the right simple features and kind of smiling, like very happy and joyful. But of course, in this instance, it's very compressed and stuck, and so it's like this. Yeah, so there's pain, and now there's sadness, and there is but this kind is still more painful sadness. And then I felt an energetic resonance to, I know that as a small girl my mom was sexually abused, so that's here as well. And then I'm feeling my great grandmother, who is my wait, which one is it? Yeah, it's so a little bit of my grandmother, like my mother's mother, and then my mother's mother's mother, and somehow my grandfather's mother. So my mom's other grandmother kind of also was kind of sneaks in there a bit, but it might be because my mom had apparently it seems like she had a very deep emotional bond to that grandmother of hers. It's confusing. Yeah, no, there are like there are like lots of old patterns and energies now. That's just cleansing. I'm quite familiar with that. It's just when on a cellular level, your body is, there are still energies present from long ago that are not useful anymore, and it's not really something you're holding on to or something that needs to be healed and resolved, but it's just there because there hasn't been much movement of energy, and there hasn't been, like, your consciousness and awareness hasn't gone that deeply yet. So you just encounter these energies, and then they're just being cleansed out, and it's just old stale energies, and there's like these patterns from both like my mom's paternal and maternal side, and when you encounter something like that, you just bring in the feeling of freshness, and like really this fresh energy. It's like a white energy that it feels like really fresh and rejuvenating and refreshing. It's like a waterfall or like a spring well of like really vitalizing water and white light. It's very nice energy. It's definitely really helpful to visualize it. Might do that more often. Anyway, so if you can bring that in, what I'm doing right now, is just bring that in, because it's like washing everything away with a hose of water. And I'm actually doing that in my whole spine now, and it's like these these old and stale energies, they're like spider webs. Sometimes I really feel or see them in the form of spider webs. And the important thing here is not to go into them and analyze them and try to heal them in the way we did that with the energies before, because in that case what you do is actually holding on to them and preventing them to just dissolve back into the universe, back into the light, the primal, or back from where they came from, which they would just spontaneously do, just because they are hit by awareness and life energy and everything. That's like a mistake I've definitely made and been taught, and I guess that many people make, that you encounter something and you think, okay, I now need to find or do a certain process or modality to heal that, clear that, resolve that. And definitely with this kind of energies, this cobweb like remains of cellular energetic debris, that's not the way to go. You just bring in your own energy, the life energy, your awareness, which automatically creates like light and life energy. You might just breathe into it, bring the breath of the universe, the universal energy, and also your personal energy in. That's something for some reason it's not working. It hasn't been working well for a long time. Don't know why. Even right now, I can feel a pain in my lungs. Somehow it's not able to bring in much energy with my breath, which might be the reason why I'm so devoid of energy and unable to function in my physical body. I mean, I've been thinking about that before today, because I remember that there used to be times when I could just breathe for a while, for an hour or so, and from breathing, or also breathing through certain acupuncture points, and then build up energy from there, and then like actual energy I could physically use. And that hasn't worked for a long time, definitely since I'm here, and now actually for the whole year of 2020. I got very much disconnected from all that after moving out of my old flat, where I had also already built up a certain energetic or morphogenetic field, if you will, of a lot of healing modalities and contemplative, like mental concepts that are helpful in contemplative practice. And then I had lots of tools, like I had an implement to energize the water from my tap, which, yeah, it's really bad that I cannot attach it here anywhere, because that makes a huge difference, and it would be really healing and helpful to use it now. But I certainly probably could attach it to some tap somewhere in this house, but I would need to find and buy an adapter to do that, and yeah, as you're aware, I'm just unable to do that. But it's good to be reminded of it, so I might look forward to it, because I feel like if I'd be drinking this water, would be really helpful. Though I mean, there's an helpful element in not having those energetic or healing tools, because you go deeper, just much deeper in those negative states and problems and states of illness, of sickness, and that helps resolve it on a deeper level, rather than kind of perpetuating it. If you have something that kind of helps you without totally, and at the same time, I mean, you can use it, even though I wasn't conscious of it, but it prevented me. I can't say it prevented me, because I might not have had the awareness to actually really go that deeply and everything, but like my body, kind of my body's vibration having become so low again this year, because of moving away from my old flat, is in a certain way, I mean, the end result is empowering, because when I'm using some external tool, even if it's very beneficial, obviously I'm taking away power from myself and kind of investing it into that on like in kind of a spiritual level, basically. And if you don't have that, you're more likely to really take your power back, and find a resolution that allows you to heal what needs to be healed and resolve what needs to be resolved, so you can thrive and function and live without the help for specific things, so you don't need to have this structured and energized water and energetic supplements and food supplements and herbs and organic, like high quality nutrition. I mean, that's all like really good for the body, but apparently it is helpful. It has been helpful. I'm so disconnected from that now that I go to such a low place, in a way, that I'm just forced to find that source of power and empowerment just from within myself. so I can go on living and survive and get out of it and find healing. And once I'm the trajectory like goes upwards again, and these things have resolved, I'll definitely add those things that positively influence my health and my body, add them back into my life, but maintain a certain balance. So move from being less aware, less conscious, and consuming lots of external influences to stay healthy and energized and maintain your physical body in a high vibration, so it's closer to the vibration of your mind and soul, and which means there's more of a resonance and more information, energy can come through, and so so you're much more easily attuned to yourself. But there's less of a pressure to resolve your emotional issues so you can be more naturally attuned from this emotional, energetic level, which is what I'm moving towards now. Yeah, right, and ultimately there must be a balance between consuming those external sources and allowing for time and space for contemplation, going within myself, and making use of the resources that are already here, which means my own body, my own breath, my mind, my attention, my awareness, and also the nature that's just around here, like going on a walk, breathing, being aware of your energy points on your body, opening them up, and so they can be in communion with the energy outside, the energy of nature, which once again is great. It's great that I'm here in this place right now, because once I'm ready, I can just walk out the door, and I that's much more present than living a more downtown area of the city. Meditating and so on, so and just allowing your own intuition and your own energy, just what comes naturally and what is present naturally, allow that to come first, and second, like external things that you can, that in a way so you have this desire to have this, and you get it, you buy it, you make it, consume it, which tends to be more not necessary. It can be more driven by the mind and emotions, and it's definitely more ego driven, which still isn't bad, but I mean, the main thing is the balance. So and there can be the other extremes, which would be asceticism, where you just want to rely on yourself and what's here naturally, and and don't make use of what is physically manifest in a way, and that would be kind of the other extreme, though it's not like really two poles. It's I mean, the more you're in tune with yourself, the more what you need will come naturally to you, or you will be attracted to it. And I mean, the imbalanced form then would be having some kind of belief system that would prevent you from accepting or receiving what comes from outside, because you think that would be less pure or something. But it's like all theoretical. I didn't really want to go into all that right now. Oh yeah, I was just cleansing my spinal cord and lumbar area and sacral area, my tailbone. Let's see. There's like in my tailbone. There's like lots of panic, fear, pain, confusion, like this sense of urgency. I really have to do something right now. I don't know what to do, but I definitely have to do something right now, else it's just a disaster. I'll die. I don't know. I can't go on like this. Something needs to be done. It's I'm too overwhelmed. It's I can't bear it any for one more second. Yeah, that's like typical first chakra energy, and I feel it now, and also my legs, like my whole lower body. So that's interesting. Revisiting this part of myself. I like for so many years I've been working a lot on my basically on my first three chakras, and lately, I guess especially mainly since I've moved out of my last flat. I'm not sure, but definitely like last year I would do a lot of meditations with my chakras, and especially for the first three ones. So I kind of had the impression maybe I'm too much neglecting the other ones, because I know that I took on a lot of unhelpful belief systems from various healers and so on, who would say things like your higher chakras are too open, like your crown chakra is too open, and so on, and thus you're imbalanced, you're not grounded, which is not helpful, because I mean, even right now, I feel, for example, for the crown chakra, how I'm actually limiting it and yeah, kind of suppressing it. It's actually same with all the upper chakras, even the heart, because I really need to focus on the basic lower chakras, and can't really put them in this kind of hierarchy. It's all about the balance. I mean, the whole concept of the chakras, especially this 7 chakra system, it's definitely helpful, but it's not a thing you can easily get caught in and be a source of imbalance when you start only thinking and moving and acting within the confines of these concepts. so what I wanted to say is that I really for quite a while I haven't been like going into my first chakra in meditation, and it was interesting to me right now when I went to my tailbone and to find like the exact same energy again. I'll just get some water and then back. Ooh, my whole lower back and spine is like really tense because I've been sitting for so long. I couldn't even stand straight. So let's see if I can record while lying down. Oh, I feel like the energy swirling around. I guess that's a good time to end this video. It was an interesting journey. Well, thank you, and farewell.